Welcome to Freaky Fauna Friday, where every Friday we take a little time and explore some of the freaks of nature from around the planet we cherish so deeply. So please, jump aboard and let's explore the wilds together. Welcome back to Freaky Fauna Friday. I'm the great and peaceful Mr. E.
And I'm Jay.
And we're going to talk about a freak of nature that we said we were going to talk about last week.
Oh.
Do you remember?
No.
The pistol shrimp.
Oh, pistol shrimp, yeah.
Because I looked it up and we haven't done an episode on pistol shrimp.
Oh, okay.
Crazy little guys.
They are crazy?
They are very insane. I just can't imagine somebody picking one of these up. Same with like the Mantis Shrimp. Pick one up and not knowing what they are.
And feeling the wrath.
Yeah, I mean, yes. So pistol shrimp. Let's talk about these guys. These crustaceans are hard. The ocean is such a brutal environment that they have to be. Unlike on land, there isn't much space for plants to grow. The majority of the photosynthetic organisms are platonic, so drifting in the water column. And most of what are eating most of the things that are eating the platonic organisms, meaning pretty much everything else in the ocean is a predator.
Okay.
So yeah, most of the ocean environment's very different. There's not like a lot of herbivores. It's kind of weird to think about.
Right. Everything just eats everything else.
Yes.
Like
plant
or animal, yeah.
There's not many plants.
Exactly, yeah.
And then the plants that are there, most organisms aren't eating those.
Okay.
So they exist and live, thrive. The ocean means that they are tough. Let's talk about the pistol shrimp. What do you know about pistol shrimp?
They punch really hard.
Huh?
Didn't they punch really hard?
No, that's Mantis shrimp.
That's right. That's a Mantis
That's
shrimp.
actually my first fact is these are not Mantis shrimp.
Oh, yeah, basically, yeah.
Let's go over some stuff. These guys, marine habitats, they mostly live on reefs or shallow, like tide pools, that kind of stuff. They are found worldwide. Their lifespan is really unknown. We don't have a lot of good ideas or how long they live. Some people have them in captivity for several years. They only get up to like 4 to 8 centimeters long, depending on the species. They're very small animals. If they got big, we'd all be dead.
Yeah, basically.
Most of the time, they weigh about 25 grams.
Okay.
They're all kinds of colors, depending on the species. I mean, they come in blues, reds, pinks, orange, whites, all kinds of colors. They are hunters and scavengers. Main predators are wrasse, small groupers, lionfish, triggerfish, and hawkfish. So a lot of those animals, the grouper is the exception. The grouper and the lionfish are suction feeders. Like they create the vacuum. They pull animals in and swallow them.
Okay.
Wrasse, triggerfish, and hawkfish have like a sharp beak that they crush up crustaceans with.
Ah.
They just bite a chunk out of them and wait for them to die.
Right.
Their clapping speed.
Clapping?
Yeah, that's the clicking that they do with their claw. We'll talk about more.
Okay.
It's called clapping. Is 100 kilometers an hour. About 62 miles an hour.
That's pretty fast for a little guy.
I mean, imagine if you could punch that fast in about a tenth of an inch.
It'd be like Bruce Lee.
That's instant acceleration.
Right, exactly.
Number of species. There's a lot of species of these guys. You want to give a guess at how many numbers of species there are?
24.
1,119.
Yeah, that's a few off.
There with over 1,000 species of pistol shrimp, there's 38 different genre or genus of pistol shrimp that inhabit coral reefs, sargassum spelt seas, marine waters, pretty much anywhere. These guys are found pretty much anywhere that's shallow and warm. Compared to Mantis shrimp, the pistol shrimp tend to be overlooked. They can strip the flesh off your thumb.
Dang.
And you won't even know what happened. They will literally blow a chunk to the bone.
Just peel it back, huh?
Off your thumb.
Yeah.
It'll look like a little explosion happened. They can fire lightning fast. They can screw up naval navigation tools as well. These guys have taken out the Navy.
At least thwarted their equipment.
I mean, I told you about the cookie cutter shark in the
submarine.
Yeah, that almost sank a nuclear submarine.
Mm-hmm.
They blinded it. It didn't take actually much to render one of these big pieces of machinery useless.
Right, yeah.
Especially if you're underwater because you can't see.
Nature finds a way.
Instead of excellent vision, so remember when we talked about Mantis shrimp, they had excellent vision, seeing 11 color bases when we can only see 3.
Right, yeah.
These guys live in colonies, and they are known to work together, clicking their fingers in rhythm of the sea. So Mantis shrimp, solitary, very good eyesight. Pistol shrimp, very poor eyesight, live in groups.
Colonies.
Yeah, big groups. And sometimes we'll talk about it, other animals even live in the groups with pistol shrimp.
Oh, okay.
So Mantis shrimps are kind of like the death machine. Like when it comes to other animals, they hate anything being around.
Right.
A pistol shrimp are kind of the opposite. Depending on what they're going for, their diet is very, very particular. So they have a lot of basically other animals that come in to hang out with them.
Okay.
When mantis shrimp are more just eating everything that
Right,
they can
yeah.
get.
They're the apex predator.
Yeah. So like I said, first little thing we're going to talk about is they are not mantis shrimp. Mantis shrimp get a ton of attention. They're just as lethal as mantis shrimp. Um, Pistol shrimp derived from the lineage of stomiopods, which is a different order than mantis shrimp. So they're not even
Oh.
really related.
Wow.
Over 300 million years ago,
Wow.
evolving
So
their weapon and choice independently.
they've got similar qualities, but
Very different.
very
yeah.
different. Yeah.
They both of their punch and their click breaks the laws of physics.
Right. That's
They
just
can't see
nuts.
too well is my next fact. They do have really, really poor eyesight. Like I said, mantis shrimp are known to have incredible eyesight, seen in the infrared and ultraviolet spectrums. And these guys they don't see in our spectrum. Pistol shrimp can't do any of that. They're poor eyesight instead, so they make friends with other species of animal. Most of the time, much larger and more visible, like fish, like gobies.
Hmm.
So they'll dig these big colonies and tunnels, and they'll work on digging. And the gobies will sit on the mouth of the tunnels. And a lot of times, you'll see the goby whack the shrimp in the face to let them know that hey, there's something around.
Oh.
Because the shrimp can't pick up on any other sensors.
Yeah.
So they'll literally hit him with their tail or something like that. Be like, hey, go back in the hole.
Yeah.
Somebody's coming by.
Wow.
And they'll live in these big, complex colonies together. There's a chance, we'll talk about communication here in a second. There's a chance that the gobies may even be able to understand the pistol shrimp language. Next little freaky fun fact. They have language.
All right. How's this
Pistol
work?
shrimp talk. We don't actually understand any of this stuff. Teddy Roosevelt said, speak softly and carry a big stick.
Right. I remember him saying that. He said that about the pistol shrimp?
No, but we were going to use that for the pistol shrimp.
Oh, okay.
So they decided the proverb sticks really well to the pistol shrimp.
Makes sense.
While hunting, their powerful claws, they deploy the ambush weapon, but more commonly, they use it to communicate. So they use gentle, soft clicks to talk to each other. We are very, very on the edge of even understanding and recognizing this.
Mm-hmm.
But pistol shrimp will sit there in their colonies and they'll click at each other with their big claw and talk to each other. And there's some evidence that suggests that the gobies that they symbiotic with may be able to understand some basic clicks that they're doing as well.
I understand what it means.
Yeah.
I mean, it might not be a very complicated thing. Like,
No, it could.
could it represent each click can represent a simple like command or thought or idea. I don't know, like food, hungry.
So the pistol measures over half the body length of the shrimp.
Okay, which you're talking about? It's claw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's the one major claw. They have a feeding claw and a pistol claw.
Okay.
The little feeding claw is a little mini claw they use to pick up food, dig, and that kind of stuff. The pistol claw is the giant weapon they have.
Mm-hmm.
So pistol shrimp are known for their disproportionately large claws, or the one claw on one arm. Unlike most shrimp, they don't have true pinchers at the end, where they have pistol hand parts. This is a joint that allows the quote-unquote hammer section to move backwards before releasing a sharp point to the point of the claw. So they basically have a mechanism inside, like a gun that supercharges water and points it out the front of the claw.
Okay.
So it's literally shaped like a pistol.
Yeah, I'm looking at. I had to look up a picture of him.
The claw emits a powerful bubble wave, enough to stun, kill, and cook fish alive.
Cook?
Yeah,
That's pretty nuts.
we'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
They're really hard to keep in aquariums if you don't have specialized glass for them, just like pistol shrimp
Would they
or
break
like
it?
mantis shrimp. Because if they miss when they're hunting something, they'll just explode the front of the tank off.
Wouldn't that be nuts?
It happens. There's videos of it.
Yeah. I mean, just imagine you sitting in here in the studio,
Well,
and the glass blows out.
there you go.
Yeah, that'd be frightening.
They compete with the loudest animals on the planet. So, blue whale is always up there for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And we've already talked about in this show the white bellbird, which is another small animal that competes with the loudest.
A special creature.
And this is even smaller that's still up there with these guys.
Wow.
In shallow oceans, these tiny crustaceans are the loudest animals around by far. Until you get to the open ocean or the jungles, these are the loudest guys.
The crustaceans are just
These guys,
pistol
okay.
shrimps. Okay.
Large colonies of these shrimps stay up all night and day, popping away, creating a deafening background noise that has interfered with sonar of ships and even interfered with nuclear submarines.
I can
Basically,
see that.
they have so much background noise from these large colonies guys clicking, it blinds sonar arrays.
They don't. Yeah, that makes sense.
Until recently, though, it was thought that the sound of the claws itself, but advancement of high-speed cameras have shown there's more mechanisms than that. that the giant claws close so fast that it creates a particular vacuum, causing a bubble to form. The loud pop is created from the collapsing of the vacuum it's called cavitation, moments before the claw is closed.
Huh.
So the clicking is not just the claw part, it's actually the little micro explosions from the creating a vacuum.
Right. That reminds me, I just seen this video of a woman. She put like 2 spoons in a drink. I don't know, like spoons face down in, and the backs of the round parts of the spoons were facing each other, so the handles were pointed outwards, like a V. And basically, she just took her hands and she clapped the 2 handles together, so it created like a vortex. Not vortex, but collapsed the space inside the. I forget what drink she was serving out of it, but it instantly just made the drinks like super fuzzy and. Super fizzy and fuzzy. But I think it's that same principle.
The bubble they create can reach speeds of 25 meters a second, aka 64 miles per hour. So very fast. It's not an easy job to create a cavitation bubble, such as this with such a small appendage. The speed involved are phenomenal. The sheer speed of the claw creates impact forces that can transport thousands of times the shrimp's body weight, spending high velocity jets of water out of the claw itself. The water jet they can send out is the water jet they can send out is tens of kilometers per hour, enough to stun or even kill large fish.
That's what's crazy.
So the speed, and people may be saying 60, 70 miles an hour, it doesn't sound that fast, right? We're talking that these were inches away, and they're doing it with a claw that's maybe 3 centimeters long.
Right, maybe. Yeah.
And instantly. There's no acceleration. It's instant, which is what,
It's like being quantumly entangled.
Well, these guys get even weirder. The snap can produce solemn luminance.
What's that?
We're going to talk about that. I've never heard of that until we started doing this episode.
It sounds like light made from sound.
Yeah, it is. Not only is the high-speed jet of water and the defending cavitation bubble produced, there's enough energy involved that heat the water to frightening levels. When the claw snaps shut, it leaves behind a space of high-pressure ocean water rushed to fill. The closing of the cavitation bubble releases an enormous amount of energy and immense pressure. Unmeasurable.
Okay.
Heating a tiny local space to temperatures up to...
Oh, gosh, I don't know. 200 degrees.
So, 4,800 degrees Kelvin.
4,800?
Degrees Kelvin.
Okay.
8,672 degrees Fahrenheit.
It's pretty hot.
It's just a couple of degrees shy of the surface of the sun.
It's a little warm.
So the little bubble they shoot out that murders the prey, right at the end of their claw, this cavitation bubble that forms, when it fills in, it's as hot as we've measured so far as the temperature of the surface of the sun.
How does it not cook them alive?
They're very good. That's why they have the little arm. They're like,
Yeah. Hold it away from them.
Die.
Right, yeah.
There's a point, die. And then the things die.
It's like someone lighting off a bottle rocket out of their hand. You just hold it away as far as possible.
So this creates a plasma arc, releasing a flash of light seen only on sensitive cameras, and essentially a high-speed pressure energy pulse direct into the body of unsuspecting victims. So they're getting hit with a cavitation bubble. They're getting hit with the vacuum. They're getting hit with the heat. They're getting hit with a plasma arc.
Man. This really is defying physics.
Yeah, no, they broke the laws of physics until they rewrote the laws of physics around them.
Freaky fauna.
And this is we just started doing this last decade of understanding because it happened so fast.
Right, we didn't understand. Didn't know what was going on.
Almost 9,000 degrees.
That's pretty insane.
And then there's a plasma arc in a bubble.
Yeah, it doesn't seem real.
It's a little shrimp.
And the shrimp,
and his buddy's a goby.
They look like little crawdads, is what they look like.
Yeah, they're that kind of crustacean. Yeah. So yeah, they can regrow their tool. So even though they're epic weapon, if somehow they lose it, they can regrow both their front arms, their feeding claw, and their pistol. And if you look at like how it's designed, it really is weird because it's just like a gun.
Yeah, it doesn't look
just
like
a gun they have on their end of their arm,
like Mega Man.
Pretty much. But they can regrow pretty much any of their arms. A lot of times, the only reason that they can make it, because it's their only defense, is because they live in these big colonies. There's other pistol shrimp and there's gobies kind of watching their back and kind of helping out.
Right.
It's not just if they were by themselves, it'd be a very easy target because they're not very big.
They'd probably get a lot bigger if they were if they were solitary creatures.
They'd have to be,
Yeah,
and then they'd kill us all.
probably.
They'd kill us all.
That's the thing. We just got to start breeding a bigger and
pistols.
bigger pistol shrimp.
If you
in
could
the
hybridize
backyard.
one with a lobster,
Yeah, I mean, they look close enough.
I'm
You start
sure they're not very close related to
you
lobsters.
start with the crawdad, and then you hybridize that offspring with a lobster. You just work your way up.
This is off the topic. I only got 2 more facts, I think. Yeah, I got 2 more facts about pistol shrimp. Do you know that there's no such thing as fish, right?
Okay.
That it's just a term that we use for a group of animals like that aren't close related whatsoever.
Right.
Because
Yes.
fish are,
Very
as far as
diverse.
vertebrates, the most diverse group of animals.
But they're all fish.
Like the coelacanth is more closely genetically related to a camel than it is to a tuna.
Really?
Yes, genetically wise.
That's fun.
Because they actually have arms and legs. They're lobe-finned fish.
Mm-hmm.
They're more closely related, way more closely related to amphibians than any fish living today.
Well, that's easier to understand.
But I'm still camels. I mean,
Right, I know.
that's the one thing I was
That's-
watching. One of the geneticists going through and just being like,
That's one of those facts you say
fish
that.
don't reel.
Huh?
Fish don't reel.
Fish don't reel?
Yeah, they're not real.
Oh, okay.
It's not a real, like, it's like it's the same thing when you talked about the stink bird, where people draw the lines between dinosaurs and birds. Some people say it's the same group. Some people say they're different groups. I'm a different group person.
Of course.
I just think they're genetically, but I do think there are some species that you could probably
Trace their lineage back.
throw back or forth. Like the stink bird is one of those animals you could kind of,
I
it
think
still has claws. It's still,
the prairie chicken.
yeah. Prairie chickens are cool. All right. They are eusocial. Another freakish query about the group of shrimp is the presence of eusocial in some species. Eusocial animals are ones in which colony is everything. They sacrifice the majority of their independence to function as a tool for the greater hive organism, spawning usually like a single reproductive female. So think much more like ants or bees. So some species of pistol shrimp actually behave like that, which is very odd. As far as we know, it's very eusocial characteristics in this kind of in animals is super rare.
Yeah.
In mammals, it's kind of only found in like naked mole rats.
Were they colonize or hive mind like that?
Yeah, or
Okay.
yeah, like the colony, like 1 or maybe 2 reproductive females. The individuals will sacrifice a lot of their freedoms or their liberties for the benefit of the quote
colony.
unquote the superorganism.
Yeah. Yeah.
So these guys will do that. Honeybees, ants, many wasp species do this, but shrimp, even crustaceans as a whole, this is a very unusual thing. As far as we know, pistol shrimp are pretty much the only one that do it truly. There's some groups that may kind of verge on the edge of something similar, but not quite. The reproductive part is a big thing, where it's only 1 or maybe 2 or 3 animals reproducing in the whole colony. Because it's a hard thing for most animals. That's a big driving force is reproduction.
Right.
So if you have stopped doing that, even though it's weird because that the species is being reproduced, you're just not the one doing it.
Right. Right.
So it's a weird thing for animals. And we kind of take it for granted because we experience bees, we experience wasps, we experience ants.
Yeah, we're used to that kind of behavior, I guess,
but-
in them.
But think about it outside of that. You don't ever really, there's not many animals outside of that do this colonial kind of style.
It sounds like a fungus or mushrooms involved.
I don't know because they do a little bit different thing. Sanguilis rafilus lives on sponges in the coral reef. They spend their entire lives inside there. They can be over 300 shrimp in a colony, most of which never breed. And the group, they're supported by reproductive efforts of a single queen, so there's only one reproducing. There's still quite a lot to figure out about these social structures in this species. That's why it happens, for example, why are only examples of symbiotic in the ocean so far that we know.
Are the queen, so they have a queen pistol shrimp?
Kinda, and we don't know. When there's a lot we don't know. When we use a term queen for this kind of stuff, we mean that is the reproductive female.
Right.
There is only this species that we are studying only has one reproductive female out of 300 animals.
Is she like different though?
Yeah.
Is she bigger?
Yes.
Okay, so it is kind of like the queen.
Yeah, but we don't know if it's like hive minds are kind of hard to tell.
Right.
Because the way they behave, there's not really a thinking. Like queens don't make any big decisions a lot of the times in some species of ant.
They just know she's the future.
Yes.
She creates the future.
But
They need
then
her.
you look at bees, a lot of times if the queen leaves, the whole colony will follow.
Right, correct.
So there's just a lot of weird stuff with this eusocialism that we don't understand yet, and it's the first time we've ever found it in the ocean.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
it's just
pretty
weird.
Interesting.
They have their last thing for them. They have a fortress defense strategy. The structure of eusocial species. Colonies appear to be to match the fortress defense archetype, defending the three conditions: the conditions of food and shelter in an enclosed habitat,
Okay.
a high value or food habitat resource that renders inhabitants vulnerable to predation, and the ability to defend these resources. Basically, they have a central. There's resources in the area. They gather resources in the colony,
Mm-hmm.
and they defend the colony.
Okay.
So it's think of a human fortress. What do we do? So you set up an area with a lot of stuff.
Right.
You put all the stuff in the middle,
Fortify it.
and then you defend it.
Correct.
All sponges are occupied with this species of inhabitants. Show that they are high value, shared real estate, and specialized non-breeding soldiers stand and guard the defense of the queens if necessary.
Mm.
So yeah,
So they got their what do you call that? Not class system, but
they do
it's kind of like that.
specializations.
There we go. Yeah.
There's harvesters, there's guards, and there's queens. And this is when you start. It's really weird. So that would be a
Social structure.
phenotype.
Oh.
Because genetically they are the same animal.
Right.
Physically, they are representing different traits within the same genetic code.
Right.
So, like, ants are a good example because the worker ants are tiny, the queen is massive, soldier ants are often huge with oversized heads and biting bits, and that kind of stuff. So it's all genetically the same animal, though.
Right. Yeah.
There's no genetic difference between a soldier, a worker, and a queen when you look at the DNA.
Just physically for their niche,
It's
whatever
just
they're doing.
what's turned on, what's turned off.
Right. Yeah.
Well, yeah, so that's been pistol shrimps.
Huh. Very interesting little guys.
Surface of the sun.
Yeah, that's probably the craziest fact of
There
all.
was a horrible movie. I think Netflix made it. It's Navy SEALs or SEAL Team 6 or something like that. It's about SEALs and they're soldiers.
Like actual seals.
Yes.
Okay.
An animal.
Yeah.
It's dumb. The whole thing's dumb. They're fighting great white sharks. The whole thing's dumb. The one thing in it that's funny is the one guy is like a tech guy with animals, one of the SEALs.
Uh-huh.
And the whole time he has like a pistol shrimp he holds like room hostages with.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
holding this tiny shrimp.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, it just always made me laugh. And then one time it clicked, and it just is like an underwater hyper explosion where the ocean disappeared for a second. Like, but it was mass. It was just funny to me because it was massive.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
it threw like a great white shark like a mile.
Yeah. Just from the shrimp.
Yeah, it just made me laugh. I don't know because it's just a little tiny. And he's pointing at it like it's
Don't
a
make
gun.
me use this.
And then it clicks its little claw together, and everything explodes.
Huh. SEAL team, whatever you call it.
I don't know. It's a dumb Netflix movie. It's one of the dumb ones.
Okay.
I've been the Great and Peaceful Mr. A.
And I've been Jay.
Have a good week, guys. Bye.
Bye. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you for listening to Freaky Fauna Friday. If you want to help the podcast grow, remember to share and give it a 5-star review.